The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is the ruling political party of China, having been in sole control since the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Founded in 1921 by revolutionaries like Dazhao and Chen Duxiu, the CCP emerged from the May 4 movement and was influenced by Marxism and the Russian Revolution. It is one of the largest political parties globally, with over 85 million members, and operates as a monolithic, monopolistic entity dominating China's political life. The CCP structure includes a National Party Congress, Central Committee, Politburo, and its Standing Committee, which is the highest echelon of leadership. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, was founded in July 1921. The founding was influenced by the May 4 movement of 1919 and the Bolshevik victory in the Russian Revolution of 1917, which inspired Chinese revolutionaries like Dazhao and Chen Duxiu to turn to Marxism. The first representative conference of the CCP was held in July 1921, where Chen Duxiu was elected as Secretary General. This marked the official establishment of the CCP, which began as both a political party and a revolutionary movement, initially focusing on organizing labor unions and later expanding its influence in rural areas. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, was founded in 1921 by key figures such as Dazhao and Chen Duxiu, who were inspired by the Bolshevik victory in the Russian Revolution of 1917. Both were prominent intellectuals who turned to Marxism following the May 4 movement in 1919. Dazhao, a co-founder of the CCP, was a mentor to Mao Zedong and played a significant role in the party's early development. Chen Duxiu, often regarded as China's Lenin, was elected as the first Secretary General of the CCP and led the party for 7. Chinese Communist Party, CCP, Political Party of China. Since the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the CCP has been in sole control of that country's government. The CCP was founded as both a political party and a revolutionary movement in 1921 by revolutionaries such as Dazhao and Chen Duxiu. Those two men and others had come out of the May 4 movement, 1919, and had turned to Marxism after the Bolshevik victory in the Russian Revolution of 1917. In the turmoil of 1920s China, CCP members such as Mao Zedong, Liu Shaoqai, and Li Lisan began organizing labor unions in the cities. The CCP joined with the Nationalist Party in 1924, and the alliance proved enormously successful at first. However, in 1927, after the nationalists under Chiang Kai-shek, Jiang Jieshi, turned violently against the communists and ousted them from Shanghai, the CCP was driven underground. Many CCP cadres, including Mao, then abandoned their revolutionary activities among China's urban proletariat and went to the countryside, where they were so successful in winning peasant support that in 1931 the Chinese Soviet Republic, with a population of some 9 million, was set up in southern China. That entity was soon destroyed by the military campaigns of the nationalists, however, and Mao and the remnants of his forces escaped in the Long March, 1934-35, to Yan'an in northern China. It was during the march that Mao achieved the leadership position in the CCP that he held until his death in 1976. Other important leaders who supported him in that period were Zhou Enlai and Zhu De. In 1936 in the Xi'an incident, Chiang was forced to call off his military campaigns against the CCP and instead enter into a united front with it against increasing Japanese military aggression in China. While Jiang's nationalist forces, operating from their base in Chongqing, primarily utilized conventional military tactics and attempted to defend major cities, the CCP focused on guerrilla warfare and mobilizing support in rural areas. As a result, the nationalists depleted their resources, while the CCP emerged from the struggle against Japan with greater strength and numbers. By the end of the war, 1945, the party controlled base areas of some 100 million people and had an experienced army and a workable political program of alliance between peasants, workers, the middle class, and small capitalists. The Civil War recommenced in 1946, and the CCP's land reform program increased its peasant support. Meanwhile, the nationalists' ineptitude and demoralization cost them what little support they had, leading to their final defeat. In 1949, after the nationalists had been decisively defeated and retreated to Taiwan, the CCP and its allies founded the People's Republic of China, and Mao emerged as the paramount leader. In the next several years, the life of the CCP was taken up with serious disagreements over the course of the country's development. At first, the CCP adopted the Soviet model for development and closely allied itself with the Soviet Union. However, the CCP and the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, CPSU, soon found themselves increasingly at odds over foreign policy and ideology, and, as the 1950s ended, the CCP and CPSU broke their close ties with each other. Internally, the CCP attempted to hasten China's industrial development with bold but sometimes harmful programs, most disastrously with the Great Leap Forward, 1958-60. In 1966, Mao, who remained in serious disagreement with several other CCP leaders over competing visions for China's future, launched the Cultural Revolution, and there followed a period of turbulent struggles between the CCP's radical wing under Mao and the more pragmatic wing led by Liu and Deng Xiaoping. Liu, Deng, and several other pragmatist leaders fell from power during the Cultural Revolution. An uneasy truce between radicals and pragmatists held from 1971 until 1976, when Zhou and Mao himself died. Almost immediately after Mao's death, the radical group known as the Gang of Four, including Mao's widow, were arrested, and soon afterward the frequently purged and frequently rehabilitated Deng reappeared and assumed paramount power. The Cultural Revolution was formally ended, and the program of the four modernizations, of industry, agriculture, science/technology, and defense, was adopted. Restrictions on art and education were relaxed, and revolutionary ideology was de-emphasized. After Mao's death, Hua Qiaobang was party chairman until 1981, when Deng's protege Hu Yaobang took over the post. Hu was replaced as the party general secretary. The post of chairman was abolished in 1982, by another Deng protege, Zhao Ziyang, in 1987. Zhao was succeeded by Jiang Zemin in 1989, and Hu Jintao was elected general secretary in 2002. Hu Jintao was then followed as general secretary by Xi Jinping, who was elected to the post in 2012. Xi Jinping's assumption of CCP leadership in 2012 marked the beginning of a new era for the party. His tenure has been defined by increased centralization of power, extensive anti-corruption campaigns, and an ambitious vision for China's role on the world stage. Xi's proclamation of a new era for socialism with Chinese characteristics at the 19th Party Congress in 2017 outlined China's goals to become a global leader by mid-century. Domestically, Xi has consolidated CCP power over political, legal, and social institutions and emphasized China's ongoing rejuvenation and development. Internationally, Xi has attempted to increase China's influence both economically and through more assertive geopolitical posturing. Under his leadership, China has promoted its Belt and Road Initiative to foster joint trade, infrastructure, and development projects throughout Asia, Europe, Africa, and Latin America. Simultaneously, it has insisted upon its territorial claims over nearly all of the South China Sea despite an adverse ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. Considered together, these policies are seen by many analysts as part of a broader Chinese strategy to reshape the international order. With more than 85 million members, the CCP is one of the largest political parties in the world. It is a monolithic, monopolistic party that dominates the political life of China. It is the major policy-making body in China, and it sees that the central, provincial, and local organs of government carry out those policies. The CCP structure is as follows: once every 5 years or so, a national party congress of some 2,000 delegates, the number varies, meets in plenary session to elect a central committee of about 200 full members, which in turn meets at least once annually. The Central Committee elects a political bureau, Politburo, of about 20 to 25 full members. That body is the ruling leadership of the CCP. The Political Bureau's Standing Committee of about 6 to 9 of its most authoritative members is the highest echelon of leadership in the CCP and in the country as a whole. In practice, power flows from the top down in the CCP. The CCP Secretariat is responsible for the day-to-day administrative affairs of the CCP. The General Secretary of the Secretariat is formally the highest-ranking official of the party. The CCP has a commission for detecting and punishing abuses of office by party members, and it also has a commission by which it retains control over China's armed forces. The CCP has basic-level party organizations in cities, towns, villages, neighborhoods, major workplaces, schools, and so on. The main publications of the CCP are the daily newspaper Renmin Ribao, English language version, People's Daily, and the bi-weekly theoretical journal Qiashi, Seeking Truth, which replaced the former monthly journal Hunky, Red Flag, in 1988. The Communist Party of China, CPC, commonly known as the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is the founding and ruling party of the People's Republic of China, PRC. Founded in 1921, the CCP won the Chinese Civil War against the Kuomintang and proclaimed the establishment of the PRC under the chairmanship of Mao Zedong in October 1949. The CCP has since governed China and has had sole control over the country's armed forces and law enforcement. As of 2024, the CCP has more than 100 million members, making it the second largest political party by membership in the world. In 1921, Chen Duxiu and Dazhao founded the CCP with the help of the Far Eastern Bureau of the Russian Communist Party, Bolsheviks, and Far Eastern Bureau of the Communist International. Although the CCP aligned with the Kuomintang, KMT, during its initial years, the rise of the KMT's right wing under the leadership of Chiang Kai-shek and subsequent massacres of tens of thousands of CCP members resulted in a split and a prolonged civil war between the CCP and KMT. During the next 10 years of guerrilla warfare, Mao Zedong rose to become the most influential figure in the CCP, and the party established a strong base among the rural peasantry with its land reform policies. Support for the CCP continued to grow throughout the Second Sino-Japanese War. After the Japanese surrender in 1945, the CCP emerged triumphant in the Communist Revolution against the nationalist government. The CCP established the People's Republic of China on October 1, 1949, and the remnants of the nationalist government retreated to Taiwan shortly after. Mao Zedong continued to be the most influential member of the CCP until his death in 1976. Under Mao, the party completed its land reform program, launched a series of 5-year plans, and eventually split with the Soviet Union. Although Mao attempted to purge the party of capitalist and reactionary elements during the Cultural Revolution, after his death, these policies were only briefly continued by the Gang of Four before a less radical faction seized control. During the 1980s, Deng Xiaoping directed the CCP away from Maoist orthodoxy and towards a policy of economic liberalization. Since the collapse of the Eastern Bloc and the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, the CCP has focused on maintaining its relations with the ruling parties of the remaining communist states. The CCP has also established relations with several non-communist parties, including dominant nationalist parties of many developing countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, as well as social democratic parties in Europe. As a Marxist, Leninist party, the Chinese Communist Party is organized based on democratic centralism, a principle that entails open policy discussion on the condition of unity among party members in upholding the agreed-upon decision. The highest body of the CCP is the National Congress, convened every 5th year. When the National Congress is not in session, the Central Committee is the highest body, but since that body usually only meets once a year, most duties and responsibilities are vested in the Politburo and its Standing Committee. Members of the latter are seen as the top leadership of the party and the state. Today the party's leader holds the offices of General Secretary, responsible for civilian party duties, also the top rank official, chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC, responsible for military affairs, and President of China, a largely ceremonial position. Because of these posts, the party leader is seen as the country's de facto paramount leader. The current leader is Xi Jinping, who was elected at the first plenary session of the 18th Central Committee held on November 15, 2012 and has been re-elected twice, on October 25, 2017 by the 19th Central Committee and on October 10, 2022 by the 20th Central Committee. Thank you for watching this video.